are officially live.
Don't scare them.
Are you scared? What's wrong with being scared?
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
Hello. I love that we have a microphone.
Little pleasures in life. My name is Sabrina.
My name is Katarina.
Welcome to this episode. We're going to talk about spirituality.
Welcome to your journey.
Since a lot of you have asked about our journeys, we're going to bring up what spirituality means to us.
I feel like you need to talk more to my phone.
And we're going to just explore it, right? I was just telling Katarina before, I was like, the way we talk is like very, like a tree, like tree branches. We like just go off onto a tangent, and that's the way we talk. So that's the beauty of our podcast. So before we start the podcast, we wanted to talk about how everything that we talk about is like evolutionary. So you could be listening to this podcast in 2024 or 2025 and then say, no, you can listen to our podcast in 2025 and we could be like not like evolved from this topic of conversation, right? We could talk about spirituality today and say something, and then when you're listening next year, it could be something else. And I just want to fully express that this journey is that every day we're learning something new. Every minute we're learning something new about ourselves. So that's the beauty. Like, we're not here to attach to concepts or attach to the philosophies, right?
Well, basically,
I don't know. To me, that's what it is.
We change with the seasons, we change with the days, we change with the minutes. We're not the same person 5 minutes ago or an hour ago or 10 years ago. So the concepts and whatever you're going to hear right now, it might completely change in next week. So the whole idea is to remain open to any kind of possibilities. The truth always comes out in one way or another. It's going to come out. Our truth right now could be different next week. Like your truth right now could be different next week. And this is why I really wanted to dive into this whole episode of spirituality, because spirituality in itself is so much broader and vaster than what you'll see in the mainstream. I feel like this concept, this definition of spirituality has been taken to another almost very box-like image. We're putting spirituality in a box again, like we do everything else, like human beings do. We want to feel safe, we want to feel secure. So we get attached to these ideas, these concepts, these definitions, because it makes us feel safe inside, without realizing that we're just constricting ourselves again. We're just narrowing down the millions of possibilities and restricting our own inner understanding and wisdom and knowledge of what this universe is, which is completely and everlasting, expansive, and the only thing that's really true is the only thing that's constant is change. The only thing that's actually true in this life is that everything is ever changing, and it will continue to change. And what I think Sabrina's trying to say is that we're changing as well, and we need to evolve our concepts of self and concepts of all the definitions. And again, the more we attach ourselves to these ideas, these definitions, these concepts, the more we restrict ourselves from the truth of who we are, right? So you might hear a bunch of stuff from us today and this week, and this is why we love you guys to interact with us too. You guys telling us your concept, because then it's going to help us expand our understanding of ourselves and life and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm. It's also like, as you walk through this journey, and a lot of people don't. This is like interesting because it's like, what is the journey? Mm-hmm. Like, as you walk through, I can say this. As you walk through this journey, and some of you are like, "What is this effing journey? Like, what do you mean by the journey, Sabrina?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's like, like the backpack journey." No, it could be any journey for you, right? Spirituality has become a narrative to me. I feel like the more and more I talk about spirituality, almost like makes me inside, because I'm like, it's just this, it's become a concept, it's become like a religion or whatever, and it's not. To me, it's like this journey is a journey of more than just self. It's a journey of discovery, right? Of the inner knowing, of the inner wisdom within you. And it's like we live in an external world, like an earth, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, the planet, the world, the illusion, the whatever, the simulation, external. And we're living here and we're enjoying this earth experience, but the inner resonance, the inner wisdom is here. And we haven't been able to trust it because we've patted it down with so many concepts, right? And programs.
Yeah, we're kind of creating interference.
But I guess then again, it's like maybe that's the journey, right?
Yeah.
So
It could be part of the journey, 100%.
I don't know. There's so many things we're gonna like be touching here because I'll be going back and forth, and so are she. But like, let's just begin. What does spirituality mean to you, my beautiful?
Before we get to that, I just want to like, for all those who are new here, this is what we do. This is not only contemplate, but we have a discussion, and the whole point is to have you participate in this discord, this conversation, because we don't really know. We know everything and we know nothing at the same time, right? So for all those who are new here, this is what we talk about. We talk about just the journey in general, this human experience, this 3D reality that we're all living, and we're all living in a different perspective, different angles, different views. And I think it's so important that everybody shares their experience so we can learn from you as you're learning from us.
And you're doing the best you can.
Exactly.
That's all you need to know. And that you don't need to know. You don't need to know. It's like we don't need, actually we've done a detriment to our, but it's probably maybe part of the journey, but we've done a little detriment about filling our body with information. Like information from everywhere, and it's like you're burying your light with your inner with so much information that the computer that you are has to process all this information. And it's like, no, we're not supposed to bring in more information. We're supposed to release this information. Come on, Sabrina, what are you doing?
So you can actually hear the truth of your soul trying to come out, right? Yeah. And you're exactly where you are in this journey. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Whether you think you're higher or lower, that's we're going to talk about those concepts right now. But you're exactly where you are in your journey.
You don't need,
and enjoy it. Enjoy that process. Enjoy where you are right now. You're not supposed to be
where Sabrina is, where Katarina is, where
5 steps ahead. Yeah, exactly. So coming back, so this episode is about spirituality and our take on it. So spirituality, what is my definition of spirituality? My definition of spirituality is basically this journey to the discovery of who you truly are. Who are you? That's what spirituality is to me. It's none of this, this whole woo-woo and magic and all these mainstream, go do a ayahuasca journey and go do these. It's part of it, but it's not limited to these extravagant events that you have to do in your life. Discovering yourself could be sitting at home, watering your plants, and then you get an aha moment of like, wow, this is what my life is about, or this is my purpose. It could be as simple as that, as a mundane, you're doing something, you're washing the dishes, and you just realize something about yourself. To me, that's what spirituality is all these little events in your life, all these actions that you take that get you closer to realizing who you truly are. And it could be through these texts, it could be through these experiences, but it's not limited to that. For me, anything could be considered as spirituality. Anything you do, if you do it with intention, if you do it with like just that observer's perception of, even the questioning, like, why am I actually doing this? Does it really me that wants to do this? Or is it because I'm trying to uphold a mask? So I would guess like that would be my definition of spirituality is the journey to figuring out who you are. And that could be through any means. What about you?
I get like, for me, spirituality becomes, like I said at the beginning, like a little bit of, it's just a word. It's just a word. Like a word we continuously label and identify, like you're spiritual if you dress like, you know what, I'm going to tell you this, it's funny. So when I first started this journey, I'm like dressed in black. Have you noticed that? I think you've noticed. And she's like our beautiful earth girl. And I'm the black freaking widow. So everybody was like, you can't be spiritual if you're wearing black, Sabrina, because that means you're dark. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? And I was like, no, like it's this, that's what this spiritual narrative, right? It's the same with any religious or any kind of like, what is it? Group, collective, cult, like cult philosophy. It's like you have to follow the rules, right? And spirituality is not about rules to me. To me, it's like, is freedom. It's freeing my all this like buried emotion and mental and all of it, and I'm wanting to just be one with the cosmos. And then you're telling me I have to be wearing white, and I have to do yoga, and I have to eat vegan, and I have to eat this, and you can't eat this, and you have to be this, and then you're like, I'm like, are you for effing real? Like, what is this? This is not like, this is again feeling very constrictive, like she had said, and that's not what it is. We're here not to live in a box. Good vibes, positive, love and light. It's like, why can't you just say love and hate? And who cares? It's just a word. We've put too much attachment on words.
So for you, spirituality is freedom, ultimate freedom. That's what I'm hearing.
Spirituality is like, yes, it's just me. It's love.
Oh.
It's just love. It's just me who is love. I am love. You are love. The world is love.
And what is love?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Okay, here we go on with me singing. Love is.
Why not?
Love is.
It is. Okay. I like that.
Because I don't think love is been perceived as an emotion. Love is perceived as this like, oh, but it's not. Love is like I always was told, I don't know, by my future self, whatever, that this whole universe at one point is going to become a heart chakra, right? We're gonna we're releasing this need for power with the static and confidence and all this with our solar plexus. We're releasing this need for all of this, and it will just be a heart chakra, like love, because ultimately love is why we're here. We came in as love, but love wasn't defined as love with a partner, love for an animal, love for a thing. It was just love. It was just this, I don't even know what it is, right? 100%. But sometimes I don't even think you feel love.
What do you mean? That you can't feel love?
I don't think love is a feeling.
What do you think it is?
It's just a state of being. And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like
it's something that you can't put into words, right? Any experience that we're having right now, we're trying to put words to it, but it's really, we're not meant to be putting words, because words in itself, it's limiting.
Yeah.
So we're meant to experience everything. So we're trying to put it into words, and we're going to stumble sometimes, or we're going to succeed, but it's never going to be the full essence of the thing we're supposed to be experiencing, because we're supposed to experience it, not put it into words, if that makes sense. And
are you like Katarina, right? This week or this few weeks, she's been having a hard time verbalizing her words, because as we collapse the old, the old is language. Language is a creation of this earth matrix, right? We didn't come in with language, like English, Chinese, or whatever, Mandarin or Italian, whatever, Arabic. We didn't come in with this. This was something we created here on this earth, right? Which is fine. But I feel like we're losing this because we're moving into telepathy.
I think so too. I think we're really upgrading all of these energetic connections, not only to ourselves, but to our environment, uniting. We're really coming back to this unification of self with each other, because we're all tied in one way or another. So for me anyways, as she was saying, it's been very hard to not only verbalize, but I felt like there was a disconnect between the mind and the speech. So I'm not judging myself. I'm just going with it. enjoying this moment of not really pressuring myself and needing to explain myself, needing to explain what I'm going through. I'm just, this is what it is today.
Interesting.
I'm still using words because I still have to communicate with people and work with people. So, but I'm not pushing this idea of like, why am I not using my words? Why can't I not find these words? Doesn't mean I don't question myself, but I just don't get stuck in that narrative. So I find it's interesting that you say love just is, because that's what we're supposed to be. That's what I think we're heading towards, is this isness.
Yeah, it's like I is. I am, I is, I was, they was. It's all the same thing. It's all like BS, these words that we're using. It's not even, there's no substance to them, And I know a lot of people who are logical here or watching will get really annoyed by it. But again, it doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. It's not about this right or wrong. It's just like where we're at on these journeys. And that's what this beauty is. Like sometimes we're not on the same page, but most of the time we are. But sometimes we're not. And it's okay. It's not like I'm better than you. You know what I'm saying? It's just that this is my inner knowing coming out. This is what I'm feeling at this moment in time. Could change in 10 minutes because it's like, and that's this beauty. It's like
that's also because you're living the moment,
Yeah.
The only reason why we get stuck in an experience or stuck in a philosophy or definition of it is because we're not living through it. We're trying to explain it. And I get the analytical mind. I get how people who are more in their intellect that would get annoyed of this, because we've been brought up using, and not gifting, but we've been really telling people, you need to use your brain, you have to use your intellect. We've had centuries worth of, what's the word I'm looking for, when you're not gifting, but when the whole educational system is not
I'm blind.
It's not based, the educational system is not based on your beingness. It's not based on you discovering who you are. It's based on how smart can you do mathematics, how could you be great at spelling, and it's really based
on fear.
What's the difference between what's the opposite of reprimanding?
Rewarding.
We're rewarding the mind more than we are anything else. So I get the whole this whole need to intellectualize everything, and how annoying it could be when we're telling you have to just be, because it's not something that you can actually intellectualize.
Because it's so interesting, because that brings up a little fear, right? Because when in the education system, it's always it's based on fear. So you're what are you going to do tomorrow? How are you going to succeed in high school? If you don't get your high school diploma, then you can't go to college, and then you can't go to university, and you can't become the CEO of this. It's always a fear of the future. And that's what all this is. All this controlled programming is what about what's the next step? When are we going to see the spaceships? When are we going to see the aliens? When are we going to see who gives a shit? I said, you are the spaceship. You are the alien. Who do you want to see? And heaven is here on earth. There's no heaven, hell is here on earth. Stop with the words. This is what this is. It's this I'm I'm just a little bit emotional right now. So it's okay.
It's great.
I wanted to she said a few points, and I wrote down a little few points. She was her speech is there's no connection with your mental.
Yeah.
And I was telling you about this heart chakra kind of taking over. It's not in a bad way, but
just
maybe it's the breakdown of the throat chakra for us. We're not able to, we're breaking it down, and that's a good thing, right? Almost it's I almost feel the chakras are a narrative as well, right? It's it's just for us to understand all these the organisms of the body, but we don't need
it's stepping stones, right?
It's we don't need to understand thing. And we've learned in school that we need to understand everything. You need to understand this. You need to learn this, because 1 + 1 is 2. And if you remember the old podcast, 1 + 1 is actually 3, right? Go look at that old podcast.
It's not old. It was the last one.
Yeah.
Which one was it? I think it's episode 5. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Check it out. Let us know.
And yeah, it's just this, the need to know is not what spirituality is for me. Is the allowing, just allowing to happen. Allow the emotions, allow whatever you're feeling to happen. Like we were talking about, see, we're going all over the place. We're talking about the polarities, right? Good and evil, right and wrong, black and white, whatever, betrayal, whatever, honesty, all these things, right? And you can't know what each polarity is until you've experienced both. Right? So like, what was the point that I was talking about? Remember?
Well, you were saying how you can't know love if you haven't experienced fear, if you can't know fear if you haven't experienced love. But then the definition of love, the definition that we have about love or that we have about fear, it actually creates this anxiety within our body. It's the definitions that create the feelings that are being invoked to a certain extent.
It's like, sorry, thank you for bringing that up, because I was like, I had an example and I said it's like this. It's like I brought up the example of anger with you, but let's say I'm spiritual, and so or I'm spiritual and I'm all about positivity and love and light. So the reaction of a person is like, oh, that's amazing. Put me in a bubble of light and protect me, you know? Or there's some other reaction of person is like, you're an idiot. Like, what the fuck is that? What does that even mean? You're a witch. You're the devil, you know? Like, there's so many different reactions. But what if your reaction could just be nothing? What if you could just stand there and listen to someone and say, oh, that's amazing. That's an interesting concept, whatever. But not attach an emotion to this, whatever this person is saying. And I feel like that in spirituality has become, we've attached these, like, you're this and you're that and you're a tarot reader, you're a devil, you're this, you're that, and then no, and you're positive and you're love and light, and I am I'm doing that. Like, it's like what just being present is spirituality. Just living in the now moment, not attaching anything to an emotion, to a mental thought, to anything. Just this. And, you know, to get here, it's challenging, right? It's not like oh yeah, I woke up the next day and I'm like completely in the present moment. Right? It's like work that you need to do. This like standing back and becoming the observer of things. It's really like, it's a freaking challenge.
Yeah, basically spirituality is exactly that. It's living through all the experiences without attaching yourself to any outcome or any future outcomes. Well, I mean, that's what outcome is, but not attaching yourself to the definition of it all. Like she said, being present in that complete moment is the opportunity for you to really get to know yourself. And if you do feel the need to attach yourself to an outcome, why? Right? Why do you feel like you need to attach yourself to the light and love, or attach yourself to the darkness and shadows? What is that triggering? Why is that triggering? These are the questions that I ask myself as much as I can when I'm present and when I'm able to be that observer, because it's not going to happen. I have moments where I get stuck in that loop, and in those cycles the mind creates, where it's like, oh no, you know, all the triggers come up because all the fears are meant to come up so you can face them. That's the way I see it. But spirituality is really being okay with both polarities, because you're actually not attaching yourself to the narratives of these polarities. So it's interesting. I was talking with a friend the other day, and she was telling me, she's like, I feel like I'm not, like, I'm supposed to be in a neutral place, because she's been going through a lot and it's been very high and very lows. And to me, I completely resonate with that, because that's what I feel like I was going through. I feel like we're coming to this understanding and realization that we're supposed to go through the polarities, the ups and the downs, but our true nature is neutral, like neutrality, because that's where we can actually create from.
Because that's where love is.
Yeah, you think so?
100%.
What do you mean?
Because love is neutral. Like this is to me the programming, that love is when you get butterflies in your stomach. Love is the man who loves me, the woman who loves me, or whatever. Love is like a product of, like, it's an action. It's not an action. Love is
Just
it.
is.
It just
Mhm.
is. It's just like, I don't need a guru to tell me how spiritual I am. I don't need anything. The thing is that you don't need anything or anyone. You don't even need us, right? We're just here to, like, spark that resonance.
That
Because
curiosity.
we're talking about it. But you could go and do a podcast too, right? But we've chosen to do this because these are conversations that we have on a regular basis. So we created this podcast. So it's just like, we're it. I always say this to my followers. We're it, man. We are the power. We are the light. It is that coming into that understanding. And I know it's like very evasive sometimes. Like, what do you mean we're the power? What does that mean? But why do you need to know what it means? This is that mind again that wants to know what it means. We have to know. We have to, like, look it up. We have to understand. We have to know. The same way we have to understand why is this coming up for me? Like, can you, like, she's taught me how to do this. Like, can you go back to that place where you felt that rejection, and can you love it, and can you forgive it, and just can you let it go? Right? That's what we're learning on this journey. We're learning to clear this vessel so that we are pure and neutral again.
We're learning how to love ourselves deeper through the experiences that we have, through the rejections that we've been through it all. We're just learning how to love ourselves just a little more every single time. Every time there's an experience that happens and we get triggered, it's an opportunity for us to love that part a little more.
I almost feel like, sorry, did you want to continue?
No.
Okay, you were just having problems breathing.
No, I was breathing. I was going to say something, but then it wasn't coming out. So.
And then I'm like, the loving ourselves, which I talk about too a lot, and she talks about too, but eventually that's going to morph into something deeper, because we're loving ourselves. I'm loving my character, which is just a character in the movie, but then it's to just love, not just myself. It's just to love. I love the crystal. I love my space. I love everything. I just love. And that's like something I work at. I work at 100% because I sit there, and this is a thing I wanted to say before you were saying something about how we can. I don't remember what you were saying, but I always get this message.
Well, I just want to elaborate on that.
Yeah,
we can only love to the extent that we love ourselves, right? So we can only love others to the extent that we've loved ourselves, our purity and our darkness. Like she says, you can only extend that love once you've accepted that within yourself. We're not meant to be just light and love. We're meant to go in the darkness, in those dark places, so we can love those parts of ourselves to then extend that to humanity.
And then again, it's like we were talking about before, what is dark and what is light? Like, light to you could be dark to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And vice versa. Who cares? Who cares about the words? Who cares about light, love, dark, blah, blah, blah. It's just like these stigmas that we put onto these words.
It's the intellectualization, which I get, because I have fun intellectualizing it too, right? The whole philosophy of it. But coming back to this idea of spirituality and what it is and what is this for us, for me anyways, and I'm going to trigger people now.
Please, let's go.
I'm going to trigger people with my statements, but I stand by it 100,000%. And who knows, maybe next year is going to change my philosophy and my thought of it. But anybody who is looking outside of themselves to look for themselves, and this is through religion, this is through relationships, this is through, and you might not even know it. That's the thing, is usually
politics.
Politics is usually a subconscious desire, because we haven't been taught to actually look within us. And we have a couple of takeaways to maybe help you look within a little, stuff that's helped us. Anybody looking outside of themselves will always be a slave. Will always be a slave to the circumstances, to the politics, to the manipulation, to everything. And I've been there. I've been there, you know.
We're still there
We're
sometimes.
still there. And I still know people who are like, religion is a perfect example, because religion is very keen on, this is the way it is and it's the only way, right? You need to follow these rules
Although
to get to nirvana, to get to God, to get to this,
Satori,
everything. And whatever you're giving, you're like, anything that makes you think that the self or God is outside of you, to me,
is limiting.
Is limiting, but it's also like, is a way to slavery. And we're going to go back to that on another episode, I think, because slavery, this whole like concept of being a slave. I mean, I remember I was a slave to a lot of things in my life. I was a slave to TV, to love, to like all kinds of stuff. But really, spirituality is coming back to yourself and not giving that power away. Your power, this inner
not
power.
giving your power to the external.
Yeah.
Because
this
the
is
external
the
is what our
for
human experience was. And now we are learning the internal, like we're learning to go in. And inside, when I say inside, it could be outside, because our magnetic field is like our Merkaba, let's say, is 8 feet wide all around us. So whatever, that's inside.
And sometimes the external is going to get you closer, right? It's going to get the people who are triggering you. Those are external, and it is going to get you to yourself, to the inside, because it's like, oh, that stepping back. Why am I being triggered right now? Why am I really like hurt? Why do I care so much about what this person thinks? Why do I care so much about getting that career? Is it really me that really wants to get that career? Like that internal, like we still need the external to trigger us and to have that experience. But if you're searching outside of yourself specifically,
it's fear.
Usually it's fear.
Always fear. Like, it's interesting to me. I was watching some movie, whatever, and I saw this person almost dying, and then he started praying to God, right? And I said, oh my God, how many times have I like encountered people who are like, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in God, and then they're like in a car accident, or they're almost like they're hurt. Dear God, you know, and I'm like, yo, man, are you for freaking real? Like, seriously, yeah, like, you know, and me too, I've done that. Where I was like, I rejected him when I was young, when my mother died, and then I was like, oh, but please, God, like, you know, it's like, but God is who? Is you. That's the thing. This is like, there's not a savior coming. There's no one coming to save you or me or anyone, because you are it. You are the savior. There's no hero, savior, all these complexes, the Jesus, the God, the Buddhas, the Allahs, whatever. These are just concepts to keep you in the box.
So you just made me think of something.
Oh.
If we're looking, because a lot of these religion, politics, whatever, a lot of these external factors, it's about connecting with God. So these people who don't believe, who reject it, and then they request for God in their moments of fear. It's almost like God is love. So if you're looking for God, you're looking for this unconditional love. And if it just like something clicked in my head, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, because people looking for God, if they're actually looking for love, they're looking for the support, this unconditional support.
They're looking for saving. They're looking for saving when they're looking, because they need someone to save them from this injury. I'm looking to save me, instead of going, hey, dear cells, can you like let's do the work, man. Like, you can you can heal yourself. Mm-hmm. Like 100%. It's just that we're looking to the doctor, we're looking to the the politician to change our world, and change your world. Because you know what? We're all mirrors, people. So change your world and watch the world change. But we're always looking to someone else to change our world. Like, I don't even understand that.
And I do think it's important, because we're all here for each other, and we're all mirrors specifically for that, so we can start looking internal. It doesn't mean like that you can't ask for help. On the contrary, sometimes the lesson is to learn how to ask for help to your external world. And of course, we're all here to help each other, but I feel like it's been taken to a point in our life where we're looking for ourselves in others.
We're relying on others.
We're relying and finding ourselves. We don't even know. Like I said, a lot of it is subconscious. Mm-hmm. We think we want this relationship because we want to be with someone. We want to be in a partnership. But in reality, we're looking for a deeper connection with ourselves. So we're trying to look that connection within ourselves through through the career, through the job, through the person, through
whatever,
the religion, through politics. But this is where I'm getting at. If you're in an accident and you get your legs chopped off, it's not a time to internal dialogue. You need a doctor to sew that shit up so you don't bleed to death. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's that awareness, this
or maybe that was part of your journey. So like, you know, but I understand. Yeah, I totally get it.
Could be also, 100%.
So that's like, it's challenging. Like the spirituality is challenging to the logical mind. I know that because I have a lot of family members and friends that are of that mind, and they will like sit there and argue with me, but I don't want to argue because I'm not here to impose my beliefs or whatever. It's not even a belief. It's just like my ideas or whatever it is. It's just what it is, right? Like, can we just live in this world and have these different opinions? And this is something that's triggering to me my whole life. I've always been like, poof, like against the person, right? Like, what do you mean my idea is right, you know? And it's like, now I see more and more as I evolve on this journey. I'm like, okay, like, what am I fighting here? There's nothing to fight. There's nothing to fight because we're already in heaven. Yeah. We're already in where we're supposed to be. It's just that we're not seeing it with our eyes yet because we're so fixated on these concepts. And we're so fixated on the fear of not having enough, or the fear of rejection, or the fear of not having enough love. It's just like, you have it all. It's all here because you are love. You came in as love and you lost it along the way. And now we're returning to love.
And then all your experiences is to help you come back to that realization of, I could love myself deeper. I could support myself deeper. How can I support myself? How can I love myself deeper? All these experiences are there to deepen that connection.
And no one else can fulfill it for me. That is a big one, right? Because that's like, not a man or a woman in your life is there to complete your, like, to, what is it, the word?
Your awareness of self. Is that what you mean?
Like, or like to, like, a lot of us seek love outside of ourselves from a man or a woman, right? We seek that love, that praise from my father, from my mother, that acceptance from my sister, my brother, my friends, my teachers. Like, you seek outside of you when it's all here. Like, why do you need someone else to tell you that when you are it? Like, when you start to love yourself, you're like, okay, I don't need anyone else to tell me this. But this is a journey.
In my experience, whatever I truly wanted was always taken away from me, so I could actually find out within myself.
Nice.
And so far, it's been like one of the biggest realizations where a lot of things have been taken away from me, things that I truly, truly desired and wanted, just so I could. And it's hard. It can be hard because you have an attachment, right? You have that attachment. Oh, I thought this was the one. I wanted this, and not realizing that God has something, or the universe, or your inner knowing has something bigger for you. But we're so attached to the small vision, the small narrative, the small story that we have for ourselves.
Also, we're so attached on doing. We need to do something. We need to do. And like for I don't know how many years now, since I've connected a bit more to my higher self, it's like the only advice is do nothing. Do nothing. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, my mind was like, oh, absolutely not. We can't do nothing. What does that mean? We need to do something. Or you're useless, or you're a loser, like I said before. We were talking about, we're a failure, you're a this, you're a that, all these freaking labels. But it's like, doing nothing is doing it. Like a few weekends ago, I did nothing for like literally 2 days straight, and I was like rewarded by my higher self saying, thank you for doing nothing, because you actually did so much by doing nothing. But you won't understand it as Sabrina, so don't even ask us. And I'm like, okay then. Right? So I was like, okay, I get it now. It's like, because energetically, we are here to do so much more. And we don't know, because our conscious mind is always like, no, like they're always like working. And I always like said, I realized this weekend I had this like revelation. It was like, let that ego or the mind, let the thoughts that you have in your head just prattle on. Like, let it prattle, chatter, until it gets really bored. And then it just stop because you're not giving attention to it. Or like we said, laugh at it. Laugh at your fears, laugh at everything, laugh at the preposterousness of the dark and the light and all the things that come up and you're like, huh, you know, the mind will like, the ego will like, oh, they're not giving me any attention. No. Next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, wow.
It's like,
it's
like you're starving the mind from it, actually. Just starving it from all the excessive thinking. So you're just letting it run its course. Sitting in stillness is something that is not seen as constructive anymore. And there's a time and place for doing, but sitting in stillness is the best way to release ourselves from from all the what is it that I keep saying? It's emptying the vessel, right? We're emptying
the chatter,
the mind,
the extra.
We're the mind chatter, the emotional guardian. You can't do that if you don't sit in stillness and just allow things to come up without attaching ourselves to the storyline or the emotion, or just allowing it to run its course, like she said, to starve it so something new could come in its place. So,
and just learn and know that you're enough. Learning that to know I am enough, or whatever, I is enough. You're enough. Like there's nothing you need to do. Like the only thing that I keep getting on this journey is to be creative. Creativity is a portal. It's like the divine feminine energy. It's like whatever that means to you. Like if people have this connotation that creativity means painting, art, dance, all that. It doesn't have to be. You could be creative
in the way you
woodworking,
or even in the way you wash your dishes.
Yes,
if you're gonna like put some sway in it and sing to it,
and passion, enjoying it, do what you enjoy. And, you know, it's like everyone. It's like, oh, it's like the quote, do what you enjoy, but it really is. If you do what you enjoy,
or do it in a way that you can enjoy it. Also, there's a lot of things that we don't like to do, but if we do it in a way that it could be enjoyable, that's also being creative in that art and in that moment, right? Yeah.
Were there any moments like in your in your past that sparked, like in your whole life, like, you know, when you were young, whatever, and there was this moment that sparked inside you, and you're like, like I'm not on this plane, or there's something weird.
What do you mean?
Like,
give me an example for you.
Like for me, 9/11 might trigger you too. 9/11 to me was like a moment of like, there's something wrong. There's something like, it was me and my sister. We were both like, there's something like not right about this. There's like a narrative being played out here in front of my eyes. It's like I'm watching a movie, and it's like it's triggered something within me that made me go deeper inside me, right? And everyone else around me again got triggered by me, but it's all good because that's what needed to come up for everybody. There's moments like when I was a child, a baby, I used to be scared of the dark. I used to spare because I could see so many monsters, so many. Oh, wow. I would see monsters and all kinds of things, but was I really seeing monsters? Or was I seeing spirits going, hey, Sabrina, hello? And I'd be like, oh my God, I want to see this, right? There's so many like those. I'm sure that's happened to a lot of people. There's like moments where like, oh, I think I saw a fairy in the forest, which I did, but a lot of, and you're like, no. Your mind comes in, absolutely not. You're making all this shit up, right?
Well, it comes in because it's been programmed to have. Yeah. Your whole environment tells us. Our whole environment tells us, no, magic doesn't exist. No.
Unicorns don't exist.
Nothing exists. Yes, meanwhile, now science is proving that energy is the living force of everything. So it's an energy you cannot see with the naked eye. So.
And also all these, like I always like say, inversion, right? For me, everything's an inversion. If they tell you that unicorns and leprechauns don't exist, I'm like, oh, they exist. For me, they exist anyway.
That's a good point, actually. Usually, if you play in the arts of manipulation and you play in these arts, it's a dark art. It's still an art where, whether we like it or not, our brains are designed a specific way. Our nervous system is designed a specific way. If you're able to break that, and this is what we're here to teach, it's like you can break anything. You can break any chain, any kind of like limitation. I do believe that 100%. And but at the end of the day, there's still an art in manipulation. I forgot where I was going out with this. We're talking about
mermaids and
oh yeah.
fairies.
So the inversion. We were talking about the inversion, and we're
Yeah.
talking about how if somebody says it doesn't exist, the best kept the best kept secrets are usually in lies, in the things that we think are lies, right? So if somebody tells you leprechauns doesn't exist, a manipulator will make you believe it doesn't exist.
And make fun of it, right? If you are like believe in it, oh, you're like wacko, and like, you know, like I always think
The
about it.
narcissists,
Yeah.
that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
They literally make you like the gaslighting and all that. It's question it. Like for me, it's like question everything.
Yeah, listen in, go in, and you believe it. Like I believe.
To me, that's what spirituality is you questioning everything.
Yeah, like dragons. Totally, the dragons are flying. I'm like, oh my god, there's a dragon. I know there's dragons. There's like everything. Dragons are evil in the movies. Like, you know, look, you have to look at the movies. Just look at the movies. To me, the movie explains everything to me. The narrative. I was like, okay, I get it.
And on the same time, for me,
It's a movie within a movie. So yeah.
And movies, to me, what I love about movies is that it shows you a different perspective of the world, that it could be. Everybody has their own perspective. Like Sabrina has an amazing imagination, and I keep telling her you have to put these in books. There's at least 11 books out there that needs to be put out because she has such a beautiful imagination, and this imagination is coming from somewhere. Whether we like it's coming. We're an antenna. Our body is designed by design. This human body is designed to be an antenna. And we're here to pick up energetic cues, whether it's through our eyes, whether it's through our ears, whether it's through our skin. Our skin has so many receptors, and we're here to pick it up. And we're getting more in tune with our environments. And there's so much more to this reality than what meets the eye. So question everything. Question absolutely everything.
Or don't question anything.
Or
just
don't.
be, yeah, right?
100%.
Or and just like sometimes I look at like a lot of you know, some of you know that you're watching this, some of you don't. I was like a massive conspiracy theorist, and eventually I weaned myself out of it because that was a narrative in itself. And it's like if you question too much, like then you go into like a narrative, but I had to do it. Like I know that I, as Sabrina, as a character in this movie, had to go into freaking extremes. My whole life was fully extremist. Like go in all the way because that was me. Like I needed to know everything. But imagine how much I was filling my body with information that is unnecessary. So that's me. And that was my clearing. I've had some massive clearing that was very physical in the past like 5 years. That's happened to me. I wonder how you guys like if like have you experienced like physical symptoms? Because a lot of this clearing comes in physical symptoms, and we just like instantly, immediately go to, oh, it's because I'm old, it's because I'm this, it's because of like to me I know again we're gonna trigger, but the menopause. I don't believe in like I don't believe in these things. Well, it's physiological, but it's like the heat is moving through our bodies because there's like light like coming into the bodies, and it has to purge itself, right? And has to embed itself. So there's so much more. Like, how do you see like symptoms, and how do you see disease? And I'm curious to see how like where everybody is on this page.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's some people that there has been cases where 6-year-olds have had kids, right? And
what?
Yeah, I've seen one record.
No,
I swear to God, it was on the news. I can't remember what it is. I'll try to find that information. But and again, it depends on how you feel about yourself and where you are on this journey. You know, you have two people working in a factory, and one person gets ill because they're taking in the fumes. Both people, same amount of hours. The only thing that has changed is their perspective on life and their environment. One was happier. and the other one was more depressed or a little less like internally, let's say, in disharmony. So
like sorry, continue.
no, that's it.
It's like it's like
it's
the
gonna affect you.
90-year-old Italian old man who like smoked since he was 5 years old until 90, but he didn't die of lung cancer. He just died like that. Like, and then now tobacco, like this is the bad thing. It's a bad thing. It's like all in moderation. First of all, nothing is bad. It's like your body knows what it needs to take in. Your body, like for us, like for me, like I go to a bar and I'm like, should I drink a thing? Yeah, one glass. Like I get that, and then it's like stop. I'm like, oh no, but I want to take shots. I want to, and then it's listening, the art of listening to your inner wisdom. That's this whole beautiful thing about us.
Yeah,
and we learn. You learn to listen a little bit more as you evolve on the journey. And like I said, it's like some people can, like I love about this journey to me is that there's people that are 17 years old that are like fully like in it, because that's what was meant for them in this journey. Or there's some of them that like are 80 years old that just woke up into, what I'm saying? It's just like it doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter your job. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a healer or whatever, it doesn't matter. It just is. Okay, we're good.
Well, I mean,
we could talk on and on and on and on.
At the end of the day, like spirituality for us, anyways, from what I'm hearing from me and from Sabrina, is that it's meant to set you free. It's meant to get you back to basics, get back to your inner knowing, your inner understanding, your awareness of self, your connection with self, and who knows, maybe your path is to have cigarettes and die out of lung cancer. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not. And do we really need to know? At the end of the day, we don't really need to know. We've decided to come on this earth, this earthly experience, to experience it all.
Mm-hmm.
And what we decide to do with that experience is upon you, it's upon us, it's upon all of us.
And we're not here to judge others, which is a big thing.
We're here to judge. We judge to the extent that we judge ourselves.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So if you're judging somebody else, it's because you would judge yourself for that exact same thing. So have you incorporated love in that aspect of self? Probably not. And this is where the judgment comes into place. Ooh, I'm judging this person because I would probably judge myself doing that same thing. Meaning there's a lack of love somewhere for myself.
Or I have judged other people, and it's coming up, and it's like it's just showing you, right? It's like exactly that. We're mirrors. And we're gonna have a big episode about mirrors. Yeah.
So I think this is good. I feel like we have a couple of takeaways.
Yeah.
Definitely, whatever came up, whatever conversations came, do let us know in the comment section. I want to hear your perspective in all this. So we have like 3 takeaways. So the first one would be, what does spirituality mean to you? Like, what does it mean to you? That's what I would love to know that with. What's your definition of spirituality? You heard ours now.
How do you feel about spirituality? Like, what is the emotion that comes up when you read about spiritual, when you learn, like when we speak about it? Like, what emotion has come up inside you in all the little topics that we talked about? Yeah. Like, were you in highs? Were you in lows? This is interesting. It could show you where there is room for healing on your own part, kind of thing, loving on your own part,
or a deep dive in the self, removing the interference. And how you connect how do you connect to your true in essence? How do you connect to yourself, but your light? Like, how do you connect to it? Like, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. How could you connect to it? Like, ask us questions. If you want. Like, this is interactive. I know that eventually we're going to do lives and we're going to be able to like talk to you while we're real interactive. But it comes out the same thing. So if there is something, if you are wanting to take that one step today into deepening your connection with your inner knowing, your inner self, your soul, or whatever you want to call it, what is the one step that you can take today to connect deeper? Is it sitting in stillness? Is it going outside for a walk? Is it
swimming? Is it whatever it is?
Yeah.
gardening.
Is it reading a book? Maybe it is reading a book about spirituality. Is it meditating? Or is it none of the above?
Or is it lying on the grass naked? Yeah, it could be anything.
It's ultimate freedom. Ultimate freedom.
Ultimate freedom. All right.
I think we're good.
This is good.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a lot for today. I think we're hitting
55
almost
minutes.
like an hour. So thank you very much. Thank
I
you for
love
joining
you.
us
Thank
on our
you.
journey.
Yes.
And welcome to your journey.
Yes.
And we will see you next week.
Yes. Love you. Bye.
And it's